Well, good Monday morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, KGEO Sports Talk. I'm Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for.
Well, we got a busy Monday show.
Uh-oh.
We're
Is
gonna
the
talk
voice,
some.
is the voice
No.
going down?
No, we're good. We're
Okay,
we're
good. Got me scared for a second.
get a little NFL talk. We got to at least bring up the Cena final match.
Oh, I could do the entire
I
first
know.
hour. We're not going to, but I could.
We could, but we got some NBA talk. We got some Heisman. The Heisman was announced. The NBA Cup is all set. The Lakers pulled out a crazy win last night. We'll have Trevor Chavez and Dave Yates joining us at 8 o'clock. The open mic Monday open mic.
Made you laugh Mondays?
Made
Isn't
you
that what they're
laugh
called
Monday.
now?
Snacks is on a plane right now texting me. So he's going to try to get in by 8:40, 8:45.
I thought he was still going to be in Vegas by
He,
when we called him.
He said his plane from San Antonio was delayed, so he's trying to get to a phone by 8:45. So if we don't talk NBA, I got a plenty to talk about now that the NBA Cup OKC was upset.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Which
We
is
were talking about it
insane.
last week. Was anybody going to beat OKC? Apparently, all the Spurs needed was Wemby to come back.
And Lakers had a crazy ass game with the Suns last night, but we got plenty to talk about. I finally checked out the Titan Lux Theater over at Reading
I'm
Cinemas.
very curious.
I did not get to watch Welcome to Derry. I'm gonna wait until after the Dolphins game tonight, but we'll preview that game. We got all sorts of stuff we could talk about today. So
A little teaser for anybody who hasn't watched Welcome to Derry yet. It's probably the best season finale I've seen in a long time, and it sets up something really cool. I'm just letting you guys know this now.
Is it the cliffhanger?
No. This very much. I think each one of these seasons are going to be its own movie,
Timestamp?
like a little own it
Okay.
in a way, because basically, I don't want to ruin it, but basically, I think the next season we're going to be going backwards 27 years.
Oh, nice.
And then the season after that, we may even go backwards again 27 years.
I mean, there's hundreds of years they can go back
So
to.
we could be seeing Pennywise throughout his entire time on the planet Earth. So this is
Sweet.
actually kind of cool. But again, go check it out for yourself. It's one of the best shows I've seen in a while. And honestly, it wrapped up super well yesterday. It really, really did. But first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. No, I'm just kidding. Philip Rivers actually did look pretty solid, though. They almost won that game. No, I got to give kudos to Bakersfield Christian. Barely losing in the state final over the weekend, 24-27. It was really fun to watch. Lincoln Adame was a fantastic quarterback the entire time, in my opinion. Had a couple mistakes, but at the end of the day, Coach Carr, because Derek was on the sideline the entire time. And if you don't think Derek's not going to step in at some point and help out his brothers, I mean, it only fits. Let's be honest. It's his alma mater. But it was a great showing all in all. I had a lot of fun watching that on television. Unfortunately, the boys didn't come up the winners this time, losing to the team out of Stockton. But still really cool to see Bakersfield represented at the top of state. And honestly, I think they're going to be back next year and the year after and the year after. I think this is going to be one of those things where we might see a dynasty, a Bruin, a BCHS. But congratulations to Kennedy, because Kennedy High School won D3 state championship over the weekend and dominated their game. So fantastic, boys. Well done. Appreciate it. And congratulations all around through and through. But let's get to the NFL real quick, because there was a ton that happened over the weekend. We had Trevor Lawrence's historic day for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh Allen came out and showed everybody once again that he's probably the best quarterback to play in cold weather. And somehow he steps up against the best defenses. That game, 21-0, if you were not paying attention to the Buffalo Bills versus Patriots game. At one point, the Patriots had a 21-0 lead. There are two things this weekend, my friend, that I hope broke the Atlanta Falcons 28-3 curse. One, the fact that Atlanta came back and won their game on Thursday with a weird, combination of numbers that ended up being 28-3. If you want to see it, go to my social media at Bird1517. I posted it a couple days ago. I'm hoping that breaks it. But two, we saw the Patriots blow a 21-point lead to their rival in a game that they had to win in order to wrap up the entire division. And Josh Allen, although I still have to say I'm not very I don't trust the defense at all.
No.
I really don't. And them having to go on the road is not going to help them at all because I don't think they're anywhere close to being able to be a number one overall seed in the AFC. But still, pulling off this win against the Patriots, I think was huge for them and maybe huge for Josh Allen in terms of an MVP candidacy here. But Drake May made a play in this game that I think solidified him as an MVP. And if you watch the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Trayvon's last touchdown, where he bounced to the right, got held up by the entire defensive line, found a way to go back the opposite way, and found a massive, massive crease, led by his quarterback, who somehow got 15 yards in front of him to block the safety. I mean, JJ Watt said it himself. The players see that. The players know this quarterback is not only willing to throw a touchdown, but he's willing to go down there and block for me as I get one. That's going to rally people. That's going to definitely get this entire Patriots team around him and say, you know what? It doesn't matter if we lost this game. This is still our dude, and we're still riding with him until the end. And I loved what I saw from this, but I don't know. What were your thoughts on this, especially since we're looking the Dolphins game tonight square in the mug?
That's I mean, we've seen it with the Bills. Josh Allen, the same thing. We've seen it in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing that he has to get over is if he can finish games in the playoffs.
Mm.
And I think, I mean, it was a hell of a division game, which was what we expected with the game with the Bills and Patriots. The Patriots couldn't seal it. But, I mean, it's still, 3 weeks left. I think the Bills, the Patriots will both be fighting for the AFC spot in the Super Bowl. I know Denver, I know the Chargers are starting to look a little better. That was a big win over the Chiefs, but we know what we're getting out of the Chiefs right now. I also think Denver looked fierce. Denver tough,
looked
man.
Great. Chargers, I can't say the same. I think Chargers benefited from a lot of things going their way, including an unfortunate injury to Patrick Mahomes, because a torn ACL, which nobody wanted to see, to be completely honest. But I don't know. I agree with you, though. I think they're both going to be fighting for supremacy, and this is the best possible situation for Josh to get through the playoffs. Two of your main rivals are now kicked out. One isn't even in the playoff race at the moment because Baltimore still is fighting an uphill battle here. Josh, all he would have to do is get through a team that he's already beat once this year and a Denver team that, honestly, the defense looks great, but the offense is week to week.
Yeah, it's hit and miss, and it's the same thing with the Bills. I mean, we don't know which team, but I will say that one is the Drake May run, which was, I think, 20-something yards. He looked just like a G. And then the big
touchdown.
block. Yeah, the big block. I mean, with 0 passing touchdowns, but a badass rush touchdown, and that block with Henderson, which knocked me out of the CBS league. But I wasn't worried about it because I pulled out 2 wins in my other big leagues. So I was happy. I put up 220 points in my dynasty league. Thank you to Bijan and St. Brown. But I mean, it's going to be crazy next couple of weeks, man. These playoffs are going to be tough because there's not, like we've said for the last couple of weeks, there's no serious team that is a runaway in either division.
No. Well,
or either conference, I don't think.
And especially after watching that Rams-Lions game yesterday in the NFC side of all of this, because if the Rams lose Devontae for a long term, that's going to be a major hit to them. Although Puka Nacua, there are not a lot of guys where I just look at him and say, get him the ball. Puka Nacua is one of them. I think right now Javonte Williams, with the way he played last night, even though the Cowboys lost, I don't know why you don't hand that boy the ball 18 times in a row. He was cutting through the defense like it was butter, and you just wouldn't give him the ball. Or at least not enough, in my opinion. But again, we get to that in a little bit.
When it goes back to the Rams, I mean, even with Devontae Adams going down and the next drive, Puka goes down with the injury, but I know Puka's tough. I know he's coming back and he gets back in the league or gets back in the game, but then they run a run with Puka, which I didn't make any damn sense with me. And he talked in the post game. He said he's sore, he's hurting, and he's going to try to fight through it. But I mean, when a guy goes down in the backfield that they have with Kyron and who's the other guy? Corum. I just didn't get the play calling.
There were a couple plays where I was curious about it as well, but I think they were just trying to catch the Lions defense off guard during certain points of this game and waste clock at the same time. But there were also moments at the end of the game where I didn't really understand what Sean McVay was doing when he called his own timeout at the end instead of just running a play. That didn't make a whole ton of sense to me. They still ended up winning the entire thing.
It was a hell of a game.
It really was. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I didn't think I was going to see a punter at all throughout the entirety of that game. But regardless, going back to what you were saying earlier, that there's really no runaway favorite, you're absolutely right. Because now we already talked about Patrick Mahomes being out for the rest of the year, which doesn't matter because the Chiefs are out of it. But the Packers losing Micah Parsons to an ACL tear as well. Like I just brought up, that Devontae's now dealing with a more serious hamstring injury than what he came in with. So how long is he going to be sidelined for? Because it's at least going to be a week, in my opinion. He's going to try to play Thursday, but it's up in the air at the moment. And they desperately need him in order to seal up this division. And going against the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday is not going to help this case at all. But when you look at everybody, especially how this weekend ended, I don't think anybody is a favorite anymore. I think that you're absolutely right on that one, because there's just any given Sunday everywhere that I look. Any given Sunday, I could see Denver lose. Any given Sunday, I could see the Patriots lose. Any given Sunday, you could see the Rams lose. It's going to be really fun to see as we go down the pike here. But at the same time, I'm waiting for one of these guys, or at least an MVP candidate, to really step up and bring their team up to that limelight of saying, nah, this is our year. We're going to win this. Because if not, we're going to be seeing a wild card team sneak into the Super Bowl again, which some people are going to be upset about, even though in the AFC, it looks like every wild card team is going to have 10 wins. And that's saying something.
I mean, even going down the scoreboard, I mean, obviously the Bears get by the Browns, but even the Ravens shut out over the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals look like they're in shambles, man. I know Jamar Chase got his, but even in the post game, we talked about what was going on with Burrow last week, and I don't think I've ever seen Burrow put up 0 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the Ravens needed that big win. They're still fighting for a playoff spot. The Texans going off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know they gave away some garbage points, but at a certain point of that game, the Texans defense is so damn tough, dude. And they surprise the hell out of me every week. I'm like, which Houston Texans were you going to get? The last 3-4 weeks, Houston has came out swinging.
And that's what I'm wondering as well, is what you just said, though, is which Houston team are we going to get? But not right now. I'm saying that in the playoffs, because I've seen Houston defenses that look this good. Or I shouldn't say legendarily good, but they've looked pretty dang good in the past, especially the J.J. Watt era. But now I've watched enough Houston Texans football to have said I don't trust them in the playoffs. I haven't seen this transition into playoff play yet. D'Amico could potentially do it. I mean, CJ has won a playoff game, don't get me wrong, but when you go up against big name teams in the playoffs, it takes everything you've got in order to win those games. And I don't know if Houston has it just yet. I like what I like what I've seen against them, against teams they should be blowing out, like the Cardinals. But I need to see that against a team like the Patriots, like the Broncos, in order to really say that I can trust this team actually going forward into a Super Bowl run.
And they square up against
it's just like
a
the
playoff
Jacksonville
team.
Jaguars.
That's what I was going to say. The Jaguars next. I mean,
love
Trevor
what
Lawrence.
I see. I love what I see right now. I mean, again, you guys heard me at the beginning of the year. I was not a Liam Cohen fan. Still, I mean, he's growing on me. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely showing me that he's creating an offense in Jacksonville that I think everybody's been trying to create with Trevor Lawrence since he got there. And this game was just another instance of that. Because again, Trevor's now the first quarterback in NFL history to have 6 touchdowns in a game, plus 50 yards rushing. And I believe, what was it, over 300 yards passing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were all talking about Trevor Lawrence at the beginning of the year as being one of those guys that might never reach that peak of his hype. But now we're looking at him like, wow, this could be an MVP candidate if all things went the right way. I don't know if he's going to actually get that love this season, but if this continues with Liam Cohen, there's no reason to believe that next year he's not going to be in that conversation. As of right now, though, it's the same thing with Houston. As much as I would like to give them the crown and say, go try to win a dang championship in the AFC South, or for the AFC South, I should say, I don't trust you. I don't trust you to be able to transition this to the playoffs and go against a team, I don't know, like the Chargers, who last time you guys were in the playoffs sent you home. So we'll see what happens, but I would like to sit here and say that somebody in the AFC is going to be able to actually do that, but I really don't. Or I'm sorry, the AFC South, I should say, because I mean, we were talking about the Colts a little bit ago, and Phillip Rivers, obviously, and that was everybody's biggest talking point in the afternoon was how was Phillip Rivers going to do? I think Phillip Rivers did about as good as we thought he was going to do.
I just wasn't surprised, or I
Game
was
manager.
surprised on the Seahawks defensive play calling.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
I mean, I was surprised with the Seahawks offensive play calling because I'm like, how in the heck do you win this game with 6 field goals, bud?
which thank you.
6 field goals. Yeah,
Thank
really.
you. I needed that.
I mean, if you had Myers as a kicker, obviously you love this, but I'm watching this game, or at least, keeping up to date with it while I'm watching the Lions and Rams game on my television. But yeah, that was ugly football. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was really ugly football. And I keep hearing people try to tie it back to different things like the Sauce Gardner trade or whatever, why this is a downhill spiral. This is a downhill spiral just because they got really bad luck in terms of the injury situation. And I mean, Sauce Gardner himself got injured after the trade and this entire losing streak. So it's hard really to say that it's not injuries that have really derailed this entire season for the Indianapolis Colts.
I mean, the other beat up games, I mean, we really don't give a damn about. But the Commanders beating the Giants, the Eagles shutting out the Raiders. We talked about the Chargers getting by the Chiefs. A big shout out to Dan. I took the Chargers this week.
I'm actually surprised the Chiefs didn't get that last field goal and send that into overtime. I really am. But that's why I'm saying I'm as much as Charger fans are celebrating right now, getting the season sweep over the Chiefs and propelling themselves into a pretty solid wild card spot. I still wouldn't be that excited.
Well, even Charger fans are telling me that they're nervous.
Oh yeah, especially when you're going to have to be playing with a quarterback that has a plate in his left hand the entire time. Now it's going to get more and more, or he's going to get more and more used to that. But I just don't know if the Chargers are ever going to be at the peak they need to compete with some of these higher up teams.
But the big game was the Broncos-Packers game, which was an entertaining game to say the least. But
Bo Nix with 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. Can we say he's good yet? Is everybody ready to say Bo's good now?
Are we hit and miss still?
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, we've seen stretches of this kid 77 points in a matter of 5 quarters. And I'm not necessarily calling you out. I'm just calling out some people who have texted me while, I'm singing the praises of the Denver Broncos. I'm not going to sit here and say this kid sucks because he doesn't. He truly does not. Does he benefit from having a really good coach? Of course. But that's just the way his career is going to go. I'm sorry to tell you that. But in my opinion, Bo Nix is starting to show himself as a really capable and really good quarterback. Now, I wish he would get consistent with it. Let's not get crazy. But at the same time, the height of what we've seen from this offense, if you're a Bronco fan, you got to be happy.
I mean, that's what we've seen with Bo Nix has been that it's not really on Bo Nix. It's really on that offense.
Mm-hmm.
It's been hit and miss. But the one thing that hasn't been is that defense. And that if that defense can continue to play, which I would expect to, and I'm still thinking maybe Broncos Rams in the Super Bowl, which would be a hell of a game.
That really would be fun.
But Snacks just got back to me. They pushed back his flight, so he'll be calling in at 7:40 instead of 8:40.
Cool.
So we'll get to basketball a little bit, and then we'll give us time to talk everything else at the end of the show. But do you trust more of? If Devontae Adams can come back and Puka can stay healthy, can you pick a better game for a Super Bowl than the Rams and Broncos?
Off top of my head right now, no, but that's obviously just because they're both the number 1 teams in the NFC and the AFC right now. But I mean, I would still love to see Buffalo make it if Josh can somehow get on a streak, especially with the story that's going on right now with him and his family. But I really don't. I think that that's probably going to be your best lineup, especially because if you look at the way that these two teams would actually have to approach playing each other, it would fit perfectly to each other's strengths. The secondary in Denver is amazing, led by Patrick Surtain, and not to mention they're having a historic year themselves in terms of getting to the quarterback. There's no team in the NFL that gets the quarterback better than the Denver Broncos right now, and that's historically. And I mean, we're having a historic year across the board in the NFL, and I get that you could kind of attribute that to some of these guys getting extra games. But like we're about to see Myles Garrett break the sack record, and he still has 3 games to go. That's pretty dang impressive. We're looking at the Denver Broncos having historic defensive year. I mean, the Buffalo Bills, for as bad as they've had their games, are still the number one rush team in the entire NFL. Like, this is a really interesting year overall. So I don't even know if we're going to get that matchup of the Rams versus the Broncos, because something at the end of the year, like something always happens right about here at the end of the year that derails the entire thing for a first round or for a number one draft or not, sorry, for a number one team in their conference. I would like to say that it's going to be Denver and the Rams, but like it could be, honestly, it could be Pittsburgh and the Lions for all I know at this point. Aaron Rodgers could turn something around here in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I know. Again, I'm not saying I want to see that matchup. It's much like the John Cena Gunther thing. I didn't want to see it.
Patriots
but
can
it's what
sneak
we're
in
gonna get.
there. There's a lot of teams that could get in there, but I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing somebody like Detroit and New England. I think that would be a hell of a game. I just don't want to see it.
I know.
And
Again,
the Saints continue to pull out wins.
I think you mapped it out perfectly. I think the best matchup we could possibly get is LA and Denver. 100%. But are we gonna get that? Probably not.
We'll see. We'll see. And then even getting into last night's game with the Cowboys and Vikings, sometimes you get a good JJ McCarthy. Sometimes this defense looks good.
I'm starting to believe JJ McCarthy is the opposite of Kirk Cousins. He is a player that can only play well on prime time.
On prime time.
Any other time, he's nowhere to be found. But when this kid is in prime time, Saturday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football, Thursday night, doesn't matter. If it's just him and his team against another team, 9 shows up. But any other game, nope. I've yet to see it. But they also made a very good point, and they continue to make a very good point while watching these games. JJ, with his injury, didn't get any reps at all his entire rookie year. So really, this is his rookie season, and he's kind of figuring it out now. It's much like what we're seeing with Jackson Dart. As ugly as the games can get sometimes, especially with his competitive nature and how he plays, he's figuring it out as he goes. So maybe we're just seeing JJ figure it out, but I'm starting to believe that he is just the antithesis of one Kirk Cousins or Andy Dalton, I guess, if you want to go that far. The kid shows up during prime time, but every other game, I wouldn't expect a whole ton, which unfortunate for the Minnesota Vikings because they don't get a lot of primetime games. So we'll see what happens. But what were your thoughts overall, though, on that one? Because the Cowboys now with a less than 1% chance to even make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're the Dolphins of the NFC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't remember who highlighted it, but somebody that came on our show here recently had highlighted it, that the Cowboys are always the best team in November, and then December shows up and they absolutely disappear.
I thought they were going to run away with this game. And I went to a Christmas dinner. I had the game on my phone. Big shout out to Kern Oil Change for taking our family out to Frugatti's last night.
Ooh, nice.
But I had Javonte Adams and CD playing, hit and miss. But I mean, stat-wise, I think he said 50 times during the game last night, Dallas is the number one offense in the NFL. But they can't pull out wins.
Nope.
And I didn't know what JJ McCarthy we were getting. That's why I didn't start Justin Jefferson the last 3 weeks in my fantasy. And I mean, I don't know if it's a growing type year with JJ's. Like you just said, he had to sit out his rookie year. And I mean, he makes some plays. He makes some plays where there's like, okay. And I was going to bring up the same thing because like the Saints a couple weeks ago were leaning on a number one pick again with a lot of holes. But now there's a lot of rumor talk where the coach with Jason Garrett is a big fan of Tyler Shuck, and he thinks that that's the guy for the future. So I don't know. It's 3 wins in a row. Yippee. You know, you beat the Panthers. And it's another one of these teams. There is so many teams in the NFL that I've found out this season that you can't rely on. And that's why it's tough to make these Vegas bets, because 1 week, you know, Carolina's on top of the division. Like nobody really was thinking, oh, Carolina's going to be in a playoff race. We were laughing about it, you know, 4 or 6 weeks ago. And then they come out and choke against a team like the Saints. I just don't understand which team, like Dallas, number one offense. Yeah, they lost Micah. They're rebuilding. They got a ton of draft picks going into the next year. Minnesota looked like garbage the last couple of weeks. They looked like a full football team last night. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know which teams are real. If it's just a competitive NFL league that you don't know what any given Sunday,
Right.
But it's tough to pick on who we could think is a real contender.
The Dallas situation reminds me of what we usually see from the Chargers, especially during the Phillip Rivers era. Really prolific offense, but they just didn't have the defense to be able to stop anybody. And usually it left them at the bottom of the barrel in the AFC, especially when they had to go against guys like Peyton Manning a lot. I see kind of the same thing with Dallas right now. As much as I would like to, or as much as I love what I see from the offense, the defense only can stop the run now. There's no pass defense at all. And it's even gotten to the points where I hear Trayvon Diggs might not even have a relationship with the team anymore. That's a rumor going around right now. I don't know exactly how true that is. I know he's been dealing with injuries all season, but I haven't seen him exactly see a lot of playing time. And in a defense that desperately needs some corner help right now, it shocks me, to be honest, that the Cowboys haven't tried to get him back on the field quicker. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's true and that they're really just trying to move on from Diggs overall. But as of right now, I mean, it's kind of like what we say about the Cincinnati Bengals, but at least the Dallas Cowboys are trying to put money into their defense. They just haven't found the right pieces to actually lead the defense yet. I think if they could somehow keep George Pickens for next year and find a defensive piece or two in the draft, maybe we could see the Cowboys back to being a pretty solid contender in all of this. But at the end of it all, I have to agree with you. We're just seeing a really prolific offense that is in a very competitive NFL right now where everybody else could score too. And if your defense can't stop a running nose, you're not going to be able to stop any offense from in the NFL, whether it's led by Geno Smith or led by Patrick Mahomes. It really doesn't matter. You're not going to win a football game very easily that way, unless you pull off crazy wins like you did against Philadelphia. We'll see what happens. Let's take a break real quick, though. On the other side, we'll break down the game that's going to be happening tonight as Sparky's Dolphins get set to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers ahead of the Steelers retiring their entire championship team of Ben Roethlisberger, the Pouncey twins, and all that type of stuff. What year was this again? Do you remember?
Who cares?
Steeler fans will text in right now. Let us know. But this is the early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. Oh, I had a very, very long weekend of things to do, and I didn't get to do most of them.
All goes.
It really does. But we got any text messages real quick before
No,
we
that the
get
one
to...
that I just read, he said there's a lot of rumor with Mahomes out, at least more than half of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the main parts of these torn ACLs and the season-ending injuries when it happens this late in the season. But the text said the Chiefs are rumored to be going after Aaron Rodgers this offseason. And him and Kelsey, I guess, are buddies, and they want to do a farewell tour.
I
said, well, with that division, you really want to do that? You really want to do that?
One, I'm going to highly doubt that. Well, no, actually, I shouldn't say I highly doubt. The likelihood of Rodgers joining the Chiefs, I could kind of see it, especially how prolific the offense is, and it would allow him really to set back and play a way he would want to, I guess, in his final year. But to have him come in, and what happens when Patrick gets healthy? You're just not going to play Aaron. He's just going to be on the sideline. It's like, I don't think Aaron's going to like that very much.
Let the guy take the year off.
Honestly, I don't think Travis would want to share his retirement tour
with Aaron Rodgers.
Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No.
I've never heard of two players coming together and saying, hey, let's do our tour together. Like, unless it's the Kelsey brothers, I wouldn't think that was going to be the thing. So
cue that up, because that would be the next rumor.
Again, rumors are rumors. We'll, I guess, find out at the end of the year. The Chiefs got to do something, because obviously without Patrick, you're not going to exactly have playoff hopes next season either, regardless of if you find an offensive line to protect him in the first place. But at this point right now, I guess Aaron Rodgers could be the best option for them. I would just stick with Gardner Minshew if I was being honest about it.
I would stay away from that one.
I don't know.
And I did want to bounce off you, because I know the Indiana quarterback Mendoza took the Heisman like we expected.
Every award again. The Heisman Trophy, and I was thinking about this this past weekend. I'm starting to believe the Heisman Trophy is more a team award now. I think it's more based on who's the best player on the best team. And I mean, you can argue a lot of other things, like a lot of players who stepped up that didn't get it, that weren't on the best player weren't on the best team. But I look at the statistics. I kind of agree with Diego Pavia.
See, that's what my question was.
I kind of agree.
What do you think about it? The drama.
Now, Diego's saying it and saying F the voters and all that.
And came out and apologized, but I mean,
big dummy.
I saw the club video where he was flipping off.
I'm like, it's funny because I've seen videos of Diego a lot over the last week and a half, especially since their season has kind of come to an end, or before the bowl series, obviously. But there's videos of him hanging out with Sketch saying he wants to be a Raider so he could play with Max Crosby and like all these other stuff. And I'm like,
go ahead.
At this point, if you're going to go out and say F the Heisman voters, you might as well go to a place like the Raiders, because you fit them with perfectly.
Open arms.
But getting back to my point, I genuinely believe that Mendoza deserved it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think Francisco absolutely deserved it. But when you look at the statistics, it's hard to argue that Diego didn't outplay him this year, outside of having a worse record. And Vandy played a lot of really tough teams. I'm not going to sit here and say that Indiana didn't, because Indiana plays in the Big Ten. And again, this is an incredible, incredible display, seeing one of the most losingest programs in the NCAA turn around and actually become undefeated and the number one team in the nation. But I'm just starting to believe the Heisman Trophy just goes to the best player on the best team, or the leader on the best team, because there's a lot of argument that you could say that, shoot, the linebacker from Texas Tech should have won. So I love that he won, and honestly, I love that he gave back, and his speech was had a lot to do with his mom, who is dealing with multiple sclerosis. So it's a really cool story overall. But I I can't say that I don't disagree with Diego. I was hoping Diego was going to win that thing. I really was. Statistically, he beat him out in a lot of different areas. The only thing that Mendoza really beats him at is touchdowns and wins. So at the end of the day, I think it's kind of like the MVP. What really is the parameters anymore for winning these awards? Is it do you have the best statistical year, or is it your team is the best team in the nation? We really just got to figure out that middle ground, I think.
We got some breaking news. The
Uh-oh.
Jets fired their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes.
Yeah, sounds about right. Even though you traded away everybody he had on the defensive side of the ball.
What'd you
So,
expect?
and your head coach is a defensive minded guy. So I'm sure he and you probably have been butting heads on how this defense is supposed to be run. Let's take a break real quick. Our guy Snacks is on the line. So we'll get to the NBA Cup on the other side as we await the Knicks and the Spurs in the finals. Who saw that coming? This is the early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We got to talk a little NBA Cup real quick as the finals are finally set as we await the Knicks and the Spurs sometime this week. I believe tomorrow is the final.
Tomorrow.
Mistaken. To talk all things basketball and NBA, we got our guy Snacks on the line, who is currently traveling back from Las Vegas. I can hear the crackling, but can we hear him? Sir, how are you?
Pretty good. I'm getting a little static.
And you need. I can't tell if that's on his end or our end.
But I'm good, man. I'm been trying to get back from Bakersfield since last night.
Absolutely.
Been dealing with all types of delays. We're lying to us and talking about falls, install going on. So here we are.
It sounds perfectly. It sounds like our FM feed right now.
Right, absolutely. Snacks, we're going to try to give you a call back, my friend, but it doesn't surprise me that he's having issues with the travel system. I mean, everybody here in Bakersfield has been dealing with ridiculous fog. And I mean, ridiculous. I haven't seen fog like this since I have been a child. That says something, to be completely honest with you. It is really, if you haven't lived in Bakersfield, you have no idea what we're talking about. We get this entire thick layer of fog usually during the winter, especially when it gets moist and stuff like that around here. And my God, and you cut it with a knife as you walk out the door. It is pretty damn hard to travel regardless of if you're flying and or driving through it. So it doesn't surprise me that he's in trouble. But our guy Snacks was in Las Vegas refereeing a tournament down there that is actually connected to the NBA Cup. He was not one of the NBA Cup referees, unfortunately. He is working his way up to that, though, and will most likely be one of those guys here in the near future. We got him now. Does it sound better? Sir, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There
I got
we
you.
are. First and foremost, let everybody know what you were doing in Vegas. I know you said you were refereeing a tournament down there that's connected to the NBA Cup, right?
Yeah, so it's the Nike EYBL Scholastic Showcase that is attached to the NBA American Cup that they do every year for the past 3 years, or since they started the American Cup. So I was had the opportunity to officiate that game on Friday and yesterday. So I had the opportunity to be Friday reporting here. So yeah, I had a chance to
Real quick, before we let you go, let you get your travel on. What's your thoughts on the Spurs beating the Thunder? Do you think that this could potentially be the team that takes them on in the West?
No, it was a good win for them, but I don't think it'll be. I think they're most definitely going to take the West for sure. I mean, it's not anything. They just balling right now, especially if they stay healthy, man. That's a hard team to beat. And they're young. They got great chemistry. It's really going to be hard to beat them.
They're matched up pretty well with the Thunder right now, though. I mean, Castle and Wemby both could be MVP candidates in their own right. So
yeah, the Spurs are playing good.
If they can stay healthy.
If they can stay healthy. 100%.
Right. The Spurs are playing good right now, too. I just think down the stretch, though, that chemistry, man, and then being in that position is going to take them overboard.
And then real quick, before you get on that plane and leave us, the Knicks, do you think that this will be a good first step for them to potentially make it to the finals? Or do you think the NBA Cup just is what it is and we're all just going to be seeing somebody walk away with some money?
Here's the thing. The Knicks have always had it. Like we talked about last year, Thibodeau just played them too much. And I don't think they're not playing as much as they used to. So they'll be healthy down the stretch. Their issue has always been being healthy down the stretch. So
well, maybe
I think the Knicks will have a good run in the East Coast.
Yeah, with a new coach and some time to rest. Well, safe travels, Snacks. We'll talk to you next week, and we'll have an NBA Cup winner by then.
Guys, I'm finally coming home. Thank you so much.
We'll see you in a couple hours,
travels,
my friend.
brother. So before we get away, because we got Trevor Chavez and Dave Yates, which Dave is a first-timer on the well. We try to keep our comedians here in town on air so we can spread, the fun, the funny people here in town. Like we've always said, the open mic Make You Laugh Monday.
Made You Laugh Mondays.
Did I get it right? Make You Laugh Mondays out at Firehouse. I'm trying to push Anthony to get on the other firehouse by my house. And he'll be back Thursday. So whatever is said today on the air, Trevor, will be recapped with Anthony on Thursday. But my question, keeping it in the NBA, which I got to watch the Laker game last night. I know Steph Curry in the Warriors game went off again last night, which I believe he passed another record for Steph Curry. And the Laker game, I mean, when I was going back and forth when I got home, and the Lakers were up 20. And I'm like, all right, this one's over. This one's over. I came back, got in the shower, finished my prep, came back on, and it was within 6 points with 4 minutes left. And I'm like, what the hell happened? And it got a little it got a little touchy, I would say. There was some shoving, some, Dylan Brooks tied up the game. Everyone ran up on the court. Of course, they had to, I think it was after a little shoulder with him and LeBron, which I don't know any of the past of this story with Dylan Brooks and LeBron, but I guess they've been a little chippy for the last year or so.
Yeah, I mean, well, this could stem back from when Dylan Brooks was really a player of the Memphis Grizzlies too, because he's always been that kind of guy. Him and guys like Patrick Beverley are fantastic defenders, but they do so in a way where they try to get in your head. And I mean, the NBA is known to have these guys in it every so often. You got your, like I said, Pat Beverley. You can say Dylan Brooks. You could say Lance Stevenson at one point was that kind of a guy. It's the same thing. They find ways to get in your head and really bother you that way. So that's, I think, more what it is it's Brooks trying to punk Braun and really, show him that, hey, I'm here, kind of a thing.
I meant to pull the audio because LeBron was talking after the game. He said, he said, as long as you don't cross the line, I don't care. It's a competitive sport.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. He said, if anything, that puts fire in me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is certain players I remember watching in the 80s and 90s, there were certain players that played with that, Rodman, Isaiah, but there's certain lines where you don't cross because once you cross some of these guys, LeBron, Kobe's, the Jordans, you might push them a little too far where they put up 40 and a quarter.
Oh, we've seen that. Did everybody forget about the day where Chris Bosh's girlfriend was chirping at LeBron during a Cavs and Toronto game?
And how that turned out?
Oh, really? And absolutely went off on them right afterwards.
Yeah, there's that line where you don't want to push the guy much.
I mean, if you want to go in game, let's talk about the Draymond Green situation in the finals where he called him a B word. And then what happened after that? After Draymond got ejected. Again, I agree with you 100%. There's a fine line you want to mess with these guys where you get in their head. But if you cross that boundary and you awaken the beast on the other side, you're not going to like it.
Well,
you're not going to like what you see.
Just a quick recap. Dylan Brooks, I mean, they were down by 20. Dylan Brooks went on fire. The Suns brought it back into Dylan Brooks, tied up the game, got ejected after the point that he tied it up and gave the Lakers enough time. LeBron drove down, shot a three, got fouled, of course. Hits 2 of the 3 free throws, and Lakers win by 2.
Again, that's the state of the NBA, though. It's like you just said, they were up at one point by 20. Today's basketball, there is no amount of a lead that's safe. Period. End of story. There is nothing. Usually back in the 2000s and even back in the 90s and 80s, if somebody had a 20-point lead, they were going to win that game by 30. They weren't going to lose any bit of that lead. Today's game is so fast and so high 3-point shooting that those leads melt away in seconds, let alone minutes. So it doesn't surprise me at all the Phoenix Suns were able to make a run back at this. Not to mention when you have guys like Devin Booker on your team who are just lights out across the board whenever they play. I mean, you can't really count them out at any point in time. So for the Lakers to have pulled off a win, that's really impressive in my opinion. But it's also showing that there are teams, much like the Thunder here later on, when you're going to have to face them, you're not going to be able to let up at all, especially if you have that kind of a lead. You can't get comfortable and allow them to come back on you, or you're going to lose series that way. Because that's really what it's going to boil down to, is that we're going to be seeing the Lakers at some point in the playoffs, probably with a 2-0 lead in the series, maybe a 20-point lead in the game, and then they take a dagger loss, and then the entire thing starts to unravel. And you realize, oh, wow, this team wasn't as mentally strong as we thought they were. The one thing I have to highlight, though, I know we give LeBron a lot of grief for the flops and all that, but I respect him coming out and saying, as long as you don't go over the line, I don't care. Like it's a competitive game, as Sparky said. But are we not going to give him at least some credit for that? For at least having the chutzpah to say, "Come at me, I don't care."
Yeah.
Like, 'cause it
I mean, all the crap we give LeBron.
exactly. You have to at least give him credit for stepping up and saying, "That's fine. You want to be that guy? That's fine. Come play me like that."
He's still one of the greatest players to ever walk the court. I
Exactly.
get it, but I'm just not a fan. It's
No,
the
no,
same
no,
thing
no.
with like
I
Josh
get it.
Allen.
I
I
get
give
why
Josh
people
Allen a
aren't
lot of
fans.
crap, but I know every time my team is playing the Bills, you better watch Josh Allen.
And it's just like JJ Watt said over the weekend, new dads play great football.
Yes, and we got
And
a
guess
text.
who Josh is now? He's a new dad.
Josh, we got a text saying Ron Artest, which is,
That's a great one.
That is
a
great one.
fantastic example of what Dylan Brooks is today. He's a
Yes.
Ron Artest. He is an absolute Ron Artest. And everybody
He's one of those
needs a
time
Ron
bombs.
Artest, man.
You never knew when you're watching a game with Ron Artest if he was going to blow up.
If he was going to throw a bow or if he was going to have an offensive day. Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Meta world peace, baby. I mean, every team needs an enforcer like that. That's what Dylan Brooks is. And honestly, I applaud players like LeBron. And I'm sure a lot of other guys like Steph and all of them would say the same thing. Keep chirping. I don't care. You're going to get me once or twice. Sure. I'm going to have a bad game once or twice. That's absolutely factual. But at the end of the day, it will be one of those situations where you're playing with fire. Because if, like Sparky said, you get to that level where you piss them off enough, they're going to drop 40, 50 on your head.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a very delicate line of finding out where you have to stop before you really wake that beast up.
Yeah, you don't want to open that.
And everybody like Ron too, everybody that's hard, I don't want to say hard-headed, but every enforcer like that believes that they don't have to, play that line. They can just blow right through.
There's no rules for me.
And then they learn very quickly that, oh God, I made a very big mistake. A very, very big mistake.
Well, I mean, just bouncing off. I mean, we have the NBA Cup final tomorrow with San Antonio and New York.
I'm going Spurs.
I'm going New York.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it in the East, but
that's fine.
I am not a Knicks fan or I'm not a Spurs fan, but I was for sure when we were walking or we were on the air on Friday, I thought, oh, it's OKC and no one else is even close.
100%.
And with 2 losses on the season, this was just a game. I mean, hopefully that will wake up OKC and be like, all right, there's another team that's competitive against us.
And the X factor is Wemby, right? I mean, again, as good as Castle has been in the beginning of the season when Wemby has been injured, when Wemby's on the court, this Spurs team is almost unbeatable. And honestly, the rivalry that we're going to be seeing here between Wemby and Chet Holmgren for the next couple of years is going to be legendary. But I'm starting to look at it and be like, okay, Chet, you're not playing as aggressively as you should sometimes in those games. Because if he took the ball straight to Wemby and punked him a couple times, I feel like we would have a completely different series between these two teams. We'll see what happens when they meet up again later on in the year. Maybe Chet will be able to turn it around and show everybody that he can go one-on-one with this kid. But until Chet can show me that he can take Wemby, I don't know if the Thunder are going to be as easily walking into the NBA Finals as Snacks says earlier, because I like what I see from the Spurs team. That's just me. Let's take a break real quick. We got our guests of the day. Trevor Chavez and his guy David Yates are here, and we will get into all of the things in the world of wrestling after that as well, because trust me, I got plenty to talk about in the John Cena area. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special, Hour 2, right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. And we've been invaded by another Bears fan and
That's
a Lions
right.
fan.
Well, the Lions don't count.
No. Well, they lost yesterday, so who cares?
That's why I said they don't count.
Trevor Chavez and David Yates are here. Gentlemen.
David, what are you,
Sir.
What are you,
David.
my father? Am I in trouble?
David, get into the
Dave,
corner,
David.
David.
I apologize.
Yeah, I decided to bring one of the Daves I know. I was gonna say my favorite, but he's just been ruthless with me this morning.
Well,
'cause
when
I'm a
you
Lions
show up
fan.
Yeah,
late.
when you show up late, you saunter in here with your dirty Lions hat on. I drove over an hour for this 25-minute radio spot, and I was early because I'm a dang professional.
Yes, he is. I mean, he walked up and I said, okay, well, he's here. Where the heck is Trevor?
Yeah.
And of course, you waltz in 5 minutes before we get started. But again, we appreciate both of you guys being here. Thank
Right,
you so
better
much.
late than never, a Lions fan.
Right,
Better late
right.
than
Oh, well, I
never.
mean, he was crying all last night. They lost to the Rams.
Yeah.
So
I
he's,
mean,
he's
the-
still heartbroken.
The Rams shouldn't be good, but they are.
Well, I mean, when your quarterback gets shot up with
that's-
some
I mean-
epidural before the season starts.
Well, of course. That's my favorite thing in the world to watch, like Lions fans watch Matthew Stafford thrive.
Mhm.
It's like you give him some sunshine and some hope and get him out of Detroit.
And an
he's
O-line, yeah.
Offensive line.
yeah. First season. I can't like there's some statistical dork is out there that knows how many times this has happened, but like how many times has a major mega quarterback trade happen and they win a Super Bowl first season
Right.
out of the dirt pit that's Detroit?
No. And again, it seems like it could have happened so much sooner too. But
Yeah,
at least you guys got a good quarterback in return, though.
We
Jared
did.
looks solid.
Yeah, and we got a team for the future, and all those that trade ended up being
For the
well, it ended
future.
up being it ended
It's
up being
supposed to
draft
be for
picks.
the now, my friend.
Okay, for
There's
the
a guy
now
with
and
there's a
future.
guy with a Miami Dolphins hat that just laughed at you.
That's right.
You know how big of a joke
That's
you have
right.
to tell to have the Dolphins
I
fan
was
be
gonna say,
like,
Dolphin fans and Lion fans.
concussed over here. I mean,
Mhm.
Tua's been concussed so many times the fans have to hit themselves in the head just to relate.
Yeah.
Like
and he's still
is-
walking, so
Yes, he is.
Yeah, but is he still counting without his fingers and
we,
his
we
toes?
don't
I
need him to
think so.
count.
Well, he doesn't have to deal with TJ Watt tonight, so
Let
hopefully
Let me
they'll be able to
enjoy
dodge
the
one more.
fact that we got Jared Goff and a draft pick that turned into the now barely operating body of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just let me have that.
One of my
Barely
favorite players.
operating body. What are you talking about? That's the number
Well-
one guy in your team.
Well, when I was going to say when he's healthy, or he's like, I'll miss practice this week and maybe I'll show up to the game because my leg is barely working.
And then
Right.
they'll score 2
I
touchdowns.
don't score
Exactly.
2 touchdowns.
150 yards. I don't know what you're complaining about. I mean, people like his team can't even get one wide receiver one right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
excuse
Val,
me.
I'm going through the
I'm
process.
sorry, am I
guys.
wrong?
I mean, look at it this way. A
Bears?
good Bears team has never needed wide receivers. Okay, go on back.
Fair.
to Walter Payton.
Fair.
Like we had the most serviceable quarterback imaginable. All right, we went in 2007. We had 2 mediocre quarterbacks to get to the Super Bowl.
That's fair.
You think we care about wide receivers?
No.
Yeah, whereas Lions
Like
fans,
as long as DJ Moore catches 1 touchdown, we're fine.
yeah, whereas a Lions fan, that's all I have to hang my hat on is wide receivers. Like, how long did Lions fans were like, well, at least we've got Megatron.
Yeah, I mean,
well, and you wasted that
can't
guy,
hang your
too.
hat on clean water.
I mean,
Flint,
Hey,
holler.
At least you're not relying on a 1972 team. Every time somebody talks crap about they're still the only undefeated team in NFL history.
yeah, well, that Yankees also still have the most rings, but it doesn't matter anymore.
Laces out, Dan.
Which was the Bills.
Oh,
but-
my goodness.
I'm gonna go over to Trevor because we had our boy Anthony on last week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We're just going to be setting up
I don't-
darts.
I don't recall.
Howdigi?
Oh yeah.
So,
Did you know his mom worked in a carrot factory? So
Really?
that's some inside baseball. If he didn't talk about his mother working in a carrot factory,
Well, he'll be back Thursday, so
Yeah,
we'll have to
we'll be
bounce that
definitely
off. him.
asking about
you
that.
ask him.
Yeah, no, but you guys apparently are setting up something big here because he's not very happy that you and Tyson were texting each other or texting him.
So, guys, I don't know how this happened because I didn't even want to talk about this morning because it was such a this went so sideways from what. So when Tyson and I sat down at the firehouse to undergo this whole thing of messing with Howdigi and Dan because they were a Bears to bring you in on this, Dave. The week that the Bears and the Packers played, we decided we'd mess with the two of them by trying to instigate them talking trash to each other. And when we sat down at the firehouse, we thought, hey, we asked ourselves two questions. One, is this dumb plan actually going to work? Are we actually going to get under their skin? And two, are they going to figure this out halfway through the game and call us out on it? And somehow the answer to both questions has become yes. Like, how do you know that we're messing with you, and how does your team win yet you're still like salty about it? I don't get that.
Well, again, there are certain things within fandom that aren't exactly explained. But
Yeah, I guess Dave, should we just explain it on Packers fandom? Is that what we should do?
I mean, Packers fandom is essentially that's the only thing worth living for in that state. I think we were talking about it off air beforehand. It's like, oh yeah, like my granddaddy owns stake in the Acme Packers, and it's just like you own like 0.2% of the team.
you would literally get 2 pennies if they sold right now.
Like you have more stake in the methadone clinic in Green Bay than you do in the actual team.
Oh man. I mean, again, you gotta at least love the devout fan base, but I couldn't agree more. Usually, if there's somebody complaining, it's a Packer fan.
Oh, 100%. And like they're like, oh, their wins and losses. It's like we live in a better city. I don't care.
Chicago's better than Green Bay.
100%.
Okay. I mean, Chicago.
Again, unless you're into meth and or fentanyl, yeah, of course, it is a better city than Green Bay.
So what you just heard, that's Dave Yates. You haven't been on the show before, so I'm gonna give you the mic first.
You can hate tweet me at Yates Comedy, YATES Comedy. You don't want this smoke.
He takes on Packer fans for a
all
living.
day. All I have to the easiest way to trigger a Packers fan is be like, your heart can't take it.
I'm just telling you, the cheese curds, man.
It's full of brats.
Well, how did you get into comedy? How long you been doing comedy? Are you from the town? Are you from here?
No, I am not from here.
Did you see his face when he said that?
Am I from Bakersfield? No. I come here and I leave like everybody should. I come here to remind you guys that there are towns like just outside of Bakersfield you can move to. So next time it's 120 degrees, you'd be like, yeah, I should probably go.
Yes.
No, I've been doing comedy for 14 years. Still not famous. But I'm good at the job, I guess. I'm so good they have me on Early Bird ESPN radio.
Yeah. I mean, open mic Mondays. Are you performing tonight?
Are you paying me?
We will find a way to pay Dave Yates for
brats and beer.
You want me to advertise the open mic?
No, we've been advertising Dave. We'll
you've been advertising me, and you're like, we're not going to pay you.
No, Tyson and I have been talking about we will get you paid.
What do you think? I'm a Vikings fan. Yeah. You could just be like, yeah, we'll give you some food.
At some point, I mean,
we got some tasty hot dish for you after the show if you want.
Specials.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys I feel like we have a new Bears fan for the panel, though. If we don't want to put bets into all this,
please. You think that's a true blue Bears fan? That dude's from the suburbs, bro.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
you hear me, Daniel Betts?
Explain the difference then, real quick, for people who don't understand.
We're just Chicago. Bakersfield people.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
people from California here.
Let me break it down from a Bakersfield standpoint. Okay, it's like the person from Oildale talking trash about someone who is from Central Bakersfield. Okay.
That's fair enough. Okay.
Right. That's everybody who says they're from Chicago. Like, I was born on the South Side in the Ingalls Memorial Hospital. If you can't name the hospital that was in the zip code, the Chicagoland zip code,
how long were you in Chicago?
For almost 30 years.
Oh, okay. So the majority of your life you're in Chicago.
And then I was like, I'm done shoveling snow. I'm out of here. All right. And then I lived in LA proper for 5 or 6 years. And then I bought a house. Yes, I'm a homeowner. Suck it, Packers fans. And I moved to the mountains just south of Bakersfield. So it's like I moved to the only place that it still snows. But it's like where I live currently, it's like 40 degrees. And that's fat guy shorts weather where I'm from. So it's like every time in Chicago it gets above 30 degrees, a bunch of dudes that are 300 plus pounds are putting on basketball shorts and slides and like walking through the snow. It's 100% what it is where I live.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Old suburban bets.
so Southside Cubbies, right? Is that?
How dare you?
Okay, I apologize.
And
Again,
you-
I'm
and
trying
you
to figure
got a-
that out.
You got a Raider.
I'm not a Raider
say.
fan. I'm not
He's
a
got
Raider
a
fan.
Raiders
This is-
mouse pad.
I'm not a Raider fan. Everybody asks that too when they see the
Who's
mouse
your
pad. It's not
team?
even my. I'm a
Who's your-
Falcons fan, so don't even.
Oh, well, you guys did pretty good the other day.
Well, once this season,
I
we've
said you
looked
guys
at.
did good the other day.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I am not a fan of what my team is producing right now. But
Yeah.
okay, so I take it the Sox fan. Then.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so how do you feel about the Sox getting the first overall pick
Something's got to go right for this team.
at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I was literally drinking 40s and puffing on Swishers, hanging from light poles the last time we went to the World Series. And then when the Cubs won the World Series, I'm like, you watch, it's not going to happen again for a while.
Now, same difference.
Like, look, Wrigley is a cool field if you
Mm.
like going somewhere that's falling apart and smells like urine, and people are like, oh,
That's like when people tell me about old Levi Stadium
Who
too. They were
cares?
falling apart and they hated it. But I don't know. There's just a little bit of history there, right? That's why it's got to be on everybody's list if you're a baseball fan.
Sure. I've gone to see concerts there,
Mhm.
but like when I first moved to LA and the Dodgers played the Cubs, I wore my Sox hat to the game. Like I'm
Mhm.
not a both sider. This is just my team. You can have your team, whatever it is. But it's like, like Dodgers and Padres fans. Although like Californians don't get as diehard unless you're a dirtbag Raiders fan.
Mm.
Like that's about the only diehard fan base in California, other
don't
than
know.
college sports, which I don't count. I don't
Cowboy
care.
fans though in California for some reason, it's like they're from Texas. and they've never
Cowboys
stepped
fans
foot in
are
it.
just the sons and daughters of defunct Raiders fans that are in prison. Okay. I feel like the only reason anybody in California is a Cowboys fan is because mommy and daddy are in prison and they were Raiders fans. And we can't do that. And
You had
So
to go
are-
with the
so are-
rival.
Yeah, are Cowboys fans, is that like the straight edge of fandom? Like, oh, mom and dad were too rough. I need to go with
I
something
mean,
more
the Cowboy,
conservative
like,
put
look,
together.
everybody was the Cowboys fan during like the Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman,
Right. When they were good.
right, and they haven't been good for a long, long time. And they spent so much money on that stadium where there's like TVs above the urinals. It's like, who cares?
Well, Jerry gets a ridiculous amount of money off of his oil rig stuff.
Of
So
course.
obviously he's just going to spend it whatever way he wants to. Because that's essentially what that stadium
Oil
is.
rigs and working girls.
That's all it
They
is.
don't, pay, they don't pay state taxes.
I mean, like I said, going back to the entirety of like the historical aspect of some of these places, you living in Chicago, I'm taking it you're a Bulls fan as well.
Oh, 100%.
So when it comes to the Chicago fandom in general, your White Sox, your Bulls, or your Bears, which one do you die hard for?
I mean, just depends on the weather. It depends on
Really?
the season. All right.
Okay.
It is 100% Bears season right now.
Because like some Chicago, it's usually one of the three. Like they don't normally pick all three of them. It's like I'm a diehard for each of them.
No,
Usually
yeah.
it's one they like. No, I'm a Bulls fan. You know what I mean?
It's Sox, Hawks, Bears. That's what for me. And I keep. I mean, I do live a life, so I can't.
Right.
I'm not a grown man that wears jerseys on non-game day out
Right.
and about. Like that's not the fandom. Like I feel like once you're older than the player that's on your jersey, you shouldn't be allowed to wear the jersey in public.
I've heard that before. Actually, that's something that's growing around fandom
I
now.
was doing shows in Boston, and there was some dude with a like a Kevin Garnett jersey on, but he was like 50. I'm like, bro, it's not even game day, and you're at a comedy show. What do you wore? You wore your nice Celtics jersey, pal, to the comedy show? Like, get out of here.
So getting to your comedy a little bit, are you more of like a crowd work guy? No.
I jokes.
Okay.
I'm not a hack.
Well, again, some people like that crowd work stuff, man.
No,
I mean, it's
I'm
going to
tell you from
huge.
I'm going to tell you from a psychological standpoint. I'm going to break the crowd work cycle for whoever's listening here. Every human being, all the ones here, the one in the control room, everybody has a fight or flight response in their brain. It's an old part of your brain. And I have been doing this for 14 years. So when I get up in front of people, I have no fear, no fight or flight response kicks in. So if you're in the audience and you're afraid of public speaking or you're not used to talking in front of people, I start talking to you. you freeze, and you're going to eventually say something dumb, and I'm going to dunk on you. That's 100% what crowd work is. It's a grift. Is it a tool? Absolutely. Can you be good at using that tool when appropriate? Absolutely. But if it's the only thing you do, you're a hack. I don't care. It is harder to write good jokes. And people are just getting sick of it. Like, you go and see shows, comics don't watch the other comics, and you got a whole bunch of ding-dongs going, what do you do for a living, to the same exact person. How long you been together? To the same exact couple. You know, and at what point are you going to take responsibility to go and do the tightrope thing, which is write an idea down and try it out and let it fail? You know, crowd work is easy. But it's like, once you know the magic trick, it's not magic anymore. And it is an unfair advantage that the comedian has. When I started all those years ago, you would only do crowd work when the audience was either like dead sleepy late shows or like completely rowdy, hammered VFW halls. And that is 100% the crowd work. I write my own jokes and I bring them up there. And if you're on board, you're on board. And if you're not, I at this point, I don't care.
Right. Now, what got you into this? Like, what made you sit there and say, you know, I want to write? No,
nothing else to do, man. Like, that was the thing. Like, after college, the workforce, every lie that we ever bought into, like, you go to college, you're gonna get a good job, and then in 2008, it was like, sorry, recession.
Yeah.
So I started doing stand-up comedy, and because I was good at it, and I wasn't afraid of getting on stage, and it felt awesome to get the laughs from the ideas that I wrote down. And it's just trial and error. Like, I mean, look, like, I still have the ability to bomb, but like, my batting average is up over the years. Like, I hit way more than I miss. And it's like, it's still an unnerving feeling to go up there and just eat shit crap for, 15, 20, 30 minutes. It happens. But it's the tightrope. It's what makes it the craft of comedy.
Right.
And there's so many stand-up comics that are out there really plugging away at it, really doing like conscious material, like really trying to live up to like the George Carlin name, where it's like, I'm going to talk about the hard things in such a way that nobody is part of a team. Like, nobody is part of a right or a left or whatever. It's like, it's either you're team human or you're a hack. I don't care. Like, if you're a far left comedian that only does jokes about the right, you're a hack. If you're a far right comedian that only does jokes about the left, you're a hack.
Yeah.
Write jokes that hit in front of 80% of the people. And look, like, I don't begrudge anybody for having their audience and making their money. Like, all the crowd work guys, there's two things. One, crowd work and social media has given a lot of comics careers. That's a positive thing. The downside of that is crowd work and social media has given a lot of comics careers.
Yeah.
Like, where like,
people, or a lot of people who think their comics really aren't that funny.
Look, and I'm nobody special. Like, I've made my entire living off of stand-up comedy for 6 years straight. I've paid all my bills. And so I am a professional comedian. I've filed it on my taxes. I'm not wealthy. I'm not poor. I pay my mortgage. I feed my cats wet food. So as far as making it goes, I've made it. Whether you know me or not is irrelevant to me. I get on stage and I try to provide people with a unique experience that keeps them in the present moment, and it's not harmful to them, other than how bad you think my comedy is. Like, it's an escape that won't kill anybody.
Well, and a comedy is always like a subjective
Unlike
thing,
being
right?
a Packers fan, it is not an escape that won't kill you. Heart disease is waiting in the wings, guys.
I mean, everybody has their own version of their sense of humor and whatnot. So not every comic is obviously for everybody.
No, and that's why I think like open mics and trying it out, like Dave said, are so important. And that's why I'm not originally from Bakersfield either. I'm via LA and Detroit, and I kind of love that this town isn't 100% like me, and I'm a different kind of dude, and I have to figure out, how do I make all these jokes hit super hard with people that may not have a ton in common.
And they never do, but he still tries. And that's why we love Trevor. He's still
and the fact
away.
that he runs the soundboard for you too when it's your turn.
Plugging away at it.
So when you come to places like Bakersfield, obviously you have some opinions about Bakersfield. Are most of your jokes based on that?
I love the people of Bakersfield. you could never get me to live here.
Fair.
But the people here are great. Like, I love performing in Bakersfield because it is a good mix of all kinds of people. Like Trevor was saying, I will agree with you just this once, you know, but like, I can't do 120 degrees in the summertime. Like, I will rip my eyes out.
No, I'm the same way. I hate, that's one of the biggest things I hate about this place is the weather during the summer.
Yeah. And that's it. Like, I am a cold climate person, you know, like you can always put on more layers if it's too cold, but like once you're too hot, it's like you can't rip off your skin, you know. And when you're a big fella like Trevor, that's got to be miserable, isn't it?
It's the heat and the drivers of Bakersfield are the only thing that are pushing me away. Other than that, I love this town.
It really is. But again, that's why I had to ask though, because when you come to a place like this, do you gear most of your most of your jokes like on kind of making fun of the area?
No. I mean, I could do like that's just a tool. Like if I do it up top, like first 5-10 seconds, if I notice something, you know, I can make fun of Taft, and that usually gets a laugh. Like, but then again, once you know these things, like how enjoyable is it to do the thing that you know is going to work?
Right.
Like then it takes the fun and the thrill out of it.
Right.
So I've been doing this long enough where I have my jokes and I have them written and I have a basket full of jokes in my mind. And I get up on stage, I kind of have a rough idea of where I'm starting and maybe a loose idea of where I'm ending, but I never do the same set twice. Like, and it's not improv. It's just a matter of like, I treat it like a Grateful Dead show.
So you don't have a joke that you go back to that you know is a for sure hitter every time?
I mean, I know those, you know, like, so it's like I have placement jokes where if this joke works, I can go this direction for content. And if that joke doesn't really hit, I can pivot and try this. And it keeps it fresh. Like, you know, I was doing shows this past weekend and one of the other comics did the exact same set to the letter over and over again. And some people do that. It's just like, I can't do it. It would be boring. And comedy is such a mental illness factory as it is that like, I want to keep it fun. I want it to continue to be my favorite thing in the world.
And I've gone to shows where it is that way, where the set is so many strays. No, but I've been to shows of like just guys who sell out ridiculous like size places that'll be the exact same thing you saw on YouTube.
Drop names.
I honestly can't even remember the name of it anymore. It's so bad.
No, it's not. No, that's the unfortunate part about stand-up comedy is like you can name maybe 3-4 big name comedians. And sure, there's podcasts and stuff like that now, and everybody's got their own fan base. Like I'm not I'm not complaining about the state of affairs of comedy. Like it's just that is the landscape. But like I have friends that go to the Comedy Cellar in New York, and it's arguably one of the top clubs in the country, if not the top. And I was like, oh, Dave, I went to the Comedy Cellar. It was so awesome. I'm like, who'd you see? They're like, ooh, short, fat, black guy, tall, Mexican lady. That's what it breaks down to.
Yeah.
So like you had an experience, but you have no idea who it was.
Yeah.
So why would it matter who I am?
I mean, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. It's a good point. But again, I like the idea though that you don't have a set like amount of jokes that you go back to, because I just feel like if you are a fan of somebody and you already know the content, you go into a show and you already have heard all of these jokes.
Right.
There's no way that you're having the same kind of an experience that you would at a show that you didn't know anything.
I want to say, I think it was Patton Oswalt that said that there's this weird thing in comedy where if you're a comedian and you put out an album and then you go on tour and you do the jokes from that album, people might like it, but they're never going to come back.
Right, exactly.
Whereas if you're a band and you put out an album, people are only going to want you to play the songs from that album.
And it gets so much so that it gets annoying and you hate those songs later on.
But there's some of us that are like jam band fans, and we are the antithesis of that. Like Grateful Dead, Fish, whatever, you know, yes, I'm a dirty hippie. But like, it's like the band has their songs and you never know what songs they're going to play. And you never know what order or how they're going to get in and out. And that's the way I treat the comedy. The jokes are written. I go up there and I feel out the moment and I do the material. Like I did 4 30-minute sets this past weekend and none of them were the same. And the fourth one, the last show, it was completely different from the other 3 because I've already been paid and like I wanted to try out a bunch of stuff. Like I have a a kind of a focal point that I'm trying to hit in the material I'm doing right now, which is hammering on the present moment. Right? Like you're listening to the radio right now because it's keeping you out of your thinking mind, right? You're on your way to work or you're at work and you're not happy with where you're at and you're trying to
Escape a little bit.
escape a little bit, but you can escape into the present moment. And that's that's the beauty of comedy. It's one of the last vestiges where human beings can get together. They don't really know each other and sit in a room and focus on the guy telling the jokes. And even if they hate my guts, which happens, they're not thinking about the bills they have to pay. They're not thinking about what work's going to look like on Monday. They're just thinking about how much they hate my guts. And it's a mutually beneficial relationship.
Right.
You know, and there's not many of those anymore. Right. So it's like, it's not a matter of like, should I keep doing it? It's like, I have to. Like I should have quit a long time ago. But like I am good at the job. Like I make dozens of dollars.
If you're making 4 sets
dozens
in
of
a
dollars.
week, I mean, how long does it usually make or take you to write a set? That's about 30 minutes.
I mean, I've been doing this for 14 years, man. Like I think you're thinking about it differently. Like it's not a matter of sitting and writing the set. It's a matter of like just writing jokes and practicing and telling the jokes in an order that's cohesive. And then you just build the time.
Cool.
Like,
okay.
If I was to sit down and list all my material, I might have 2 hours worth of material over 14 years. So it took 14 years to have 2 hours worth of material.
Gotcha. Okay.
And there's some people out there that are machines. Yeah. I'm not one of those people.
Okay.
Like I craft jokes and I might tell a joke for 9 years and then come up with another line that really just makes it work. Or like I'll have a line from a joke that I put on the shelf years ago. And then I'll write a new joke and then a line will come up in my brain from an old joke. So it's like, it is a constantly evolving, moving parts thing for me.
Yeah, as it grows and you grow as a comedian and certain things happen. But before we wrap it up, Trevor, how do we go out to the show tonight?
How you check out me and Dave? We will be at the Firehouse Southwest station today. We're making a little bit of a change. Tyson wants to try out something a little new.
He was just saying he wanted the Firehouse on Southwest.
Yeah. So we're going to be at the Southwest tonight. Show is going to be at 7:00. If anyone wants to sign up for the mic, show up at 6:30. As always, great food and drink specials. We're going to be featuring Dave tonight, so he's going to be having
if he pays me.
He pays,
we're gonna
because I have to go home
at some point. He's got to pay for the gas.
I got to go home. I got to drive an hour, go feed my cats, drink more coffee, and then drive all the way back here.
If Tyson and I have to do the Mafia, pretty nice place around you got around here to the Southwest, we will squeeze. No, I'm kidding. We won't squeeze money out of Firehouse. We'll squeeze it out of ourselves if we need to. But
no, you could support me directly because I cannot rely on people like
this.
Trevor.
Is true. This is true.
And I will be bringing my world famous hot sauce.
Dave will be slinging hot sauce.
I make and sell my own brand of hot sauce called hot sauce. And yes, Radio Crew, I have some in the trunk.
Nice.
Always be closing, and you can support me directly. You come to Firehouse tonight, and after my set, I will sell you some hot sauce. I make it with an orange pear, apple cider vinegar, Roma tomato, sweet onion, and I use a Carolina Reaper, so it's very tasty. So, and if you're listening and you can't make the show tonight, hahahotsauce.com. That money goes directly to support me and my cat's wet food.
Absolutely.
And Tyson and I will be talking about hot sauce throughout the day and throughout the mic. It's good stuff. It's all actually, I'm in the market for a new bottle. I'll buy one tonight, man.
Product placement.
You could buy one right after the segment.
Okay,
done.
There you go.
Yeah.
Put
your money where your mouth is,
done.
Lions fan.
Just like you said, ABC, always be close.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. Let's see. We've got Dave possibly for the NFC North roundtable.
I'm just saying, we still need to find a Vikings fan.
If you guys want to do an AL Central, I will happily be the Tigers fan there. And if you guys want to do a hockey roundtable, maybe we'll get Boydston in here for Ducks.
This
Red
is
Wings,
just Trevor trying to get more on air time. Me, I'm like, I don't want to do this.
And Trevor's like, please, always be closing.
Guys, please.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
No
we greatly appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Good luck tonight at Open Mic. I'm sorry, Made You Laugh Mondays. I keep calling it Open Mic Mondays.
I mean,
that's
the only mic that matters.
But thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you soon. We got to take a break real quick. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. We are also streaming video every single day on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also follow us on all social media platforms at the Early Bird Special and the Early Bird Special Official. Who do we got on the phone?
We got Daily Dave.
Mr. Dave, how are you?
Morning, guys. I got to see the Bakersfield Christian.
Uh-oh. Well,
It's great. You know who won the Delano game?
Kennedy. Kennedy ended up winning.
They did.
Yes, Kennedy was the team that actually ended up winning this weekend. BCHS, unfortunately, lost by 3. We started the show with that. And I agree with you. I think they played great. Obviously, there were a couple miscues that ended up, going the opposite direction. But all of the leaders on the team, Lincoln Adame made an amazing throw at the end to Michael Smith that I thought was going to set up the game-winning touchdown and/or the game-tying field goal for them, but just didn't end up going their way. And I gotta say, Dave, I love what Darren Carr has going with this entire team. Although I do expect him to get some college offers eventually and move up in the ranks, but I think we could potentially be seeing a pretty solid dynasty here from BCHS.
I agree. I will say this about that Rams defense: they swarm tackles.
Yes,
Every time our guys had the ball, running the ball, there was 2 or 3 tacklers on them. I give them credit for that. But
Well,
yeah, our passing attack was outstanding.
They did an amazing job of getting to the ball as well and causing turnovers. I know the running back had a couple of them, and I mean they did what they could to try to get past the defense. But when you're chicken arming with the football in your hand, it's going to get popped out. So yep. I think the Rams of Stockton's team just did a very good job, or St. Mary's, I apologize, in Stockton, did a very good job at just creating mistakes for BCHS, and unfortunately they were just one too many.
Yeah, and there was a blocked kick, a missed extra point, and a missed field goal.
I know Adame threw an interception in the end zone as well at one point, but again, I like what we see, though, and I'm curious to see where all of these kids end up going to the next level. I'm sure some of them will be a BC. I hope some of them get to higher levels than that as well. But I think that this is just another instance of what Darren has been able to build on the field, and we'll hopefully see in the future.
Oh, that Carr family is wonderful. How about that D. McCallum kid? I'd love to see him run for BC.
I would, too. I really would. And honestly, I don't know if Lincoln has anywhere to go, but I'd love to see him be the quarterback for BC, especially after this last year where we really were tossing around 2 or 3 options and not really figuring out who our number one guy is. I think he could potentially sit in there and be that guy for him. Maybe help them win a championship at some point.
Well, kudos to all of our local teams. Great to be second in the state. Great to be first in the state up in Delano. And just wanted to chime in on that. And then, of course, watching Phillip Rivers come out of retirement, that was crazy.
Is it about what you expected?
I thought he did well. I thought he did well, but we'll see. The thing about him, I watched the whole series of stuff about. He's got like a camp where he works out. It's not like he's been sitting on the couch. He's out there. He's coaching. He's working out. So.
And that's what Brady said. I mean, Brady was talking about it, that the mental aspect of it never really leaves, but the body, is the body as willing as the mind is really where it's at. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he'll be getting better as the weeks go on, if he even continues to be the starter, because I'm sure if Riley Leonard comes back, the Colts will probably lean the opposite direction just to make sure that, they keep the most healthy option on the field.
Well, you guys continue to have a great show. I'll try to call in and chime in from time to time, and thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it, Dave. Have a good day, sir. Real quick, I know we've talked a lot of football and whatnot today, but we have yet to get into this John Cena final match kind of situation. And should we wrap up before we do that? I mean, should we go to break?
I mean, we could wrap up the show with all that.
There's
plenty to talk about.
That's probably very true here. Let's take an early break. On the other side, we'll get into all that, because I know there's a lot of hurting wrestling fans that were screaming not only at their television, but probably screaming obscenities at a certain man. And I don't think he's really the one to blame for all of this. Sorry. Hate to be the one to tell you that, but we'll get into that on the other side of the break. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. You can also watch us every single day on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Join us on all social media platforms. Like, share, subscribe, all that type of good stuff. So we've been talking about it all last week. I had been preparing you guys for the last couple months, and I tried to warn all of you. I really did. Tried to warn all of you that this was going to be one of those matches. This was going to be boring. This was going to be, I mean, don't get me wrong. When you look at it, it is a technical masterpiece of wrestling. It really is, as Gunther's matches traditionally are in the first 10 minutes. But there obviously has been a massive stir in the wrestling universe after John lost his match, and not just lost, but tapped out in his final match to Gunther over the weekend. And a lot of people have placed that anger on one Triple H, Paul Levesque, who is the head of creative. That is fair. And I'm not sitting here saying that wrestling fans' anger isn't warranted, because it is. I think a lot of us were really hoping this was going to break tradition and John was going to go out as the hero he should have been. But as I tried to warn you guys last week, John wasn't going to let that happen. And honestly, I genuinely believe there was talk that John was going to win this match at first. I really do. I think Paul's original idea, probably with Nick Khan and Shawn Michaels, they probably all sat down and said, you know what, let's let him win, just like we did. Because technically, Triple H and Shawn Michaels won their retirement matches. But the smile on John's face as he was tapping told me that was him coming to terms with, this is it. This is the end of it. And to be honest with you, after being put into a weak-ass sleeper hold for 8 times straight, that also showed me Gunther didn't have the freaking motor to keep going, which bugs the crap. I'll get to that in a second. So everybody's anger pointed at Triple H because everybody's blaming him, saying this was your idea. You made our GOAT lose. No, as I tried to warn you guys last week, when you retire in these retirement matches in professional wrestling, you go out on your back, you hand the torch off to the next generation, which is exactly what John did. Do you have any thoughts on this real quick before I get my gripe out there real quick?
Just on the Cena match?
Well, I mean, the overall. I thought the pay-per-view in general was actually pretty fun. I thought most of those matches were very entertaining.
The Saturday night main event, I was more upset of the opening match.
The Drew
because
interfering.
It seemed like we were going to have a good match. So far, I mean, the first half of the match was going well.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd warned us, it was going to have McIntyre somehow. And I did like the spin because, I think, how do you say his dude's name? Oba. I mean, Oba's probably going to be a crowd favorite.
Oh, yeah.
So when he was going to fight Cody, I was like, how's this going to work? Because we don't get a lot of those types of matches with face versus face or heel versus heel. And of course, Drew kind of interrupted it. I would have liked it better if they would have just got through the match. But I mean, we knew what they expected, the story. So I mean, overall, I think it was a good PLE. I was happy with most of the matches, but that final match, I know wrestling. I know I've been watching it for 25 years plus, and I think the smile with the tap out was just silly. I think it was silly.
Well, again, I was okay with it then because that's when I knew. I was like, okay, that's when John's like, all right, it's over, we're good, and he just tapped. Now, I really, really, really wish he wouldn't have tapped. I really wish they would have just knocked him out and had it go that way, at least, keep him still the guy who never gave up and never quit. But again, I warned you guys that the direction they're trying to push this, which is Gunther's going to be the career killer, as Michael Cole referred to him at the end of at the end of it all. And he'll probably get AJ Styles next, then maybe Chris Jericho and a lot of these other guys that are going to be coming back for their retirement tours as well.
Mysterio. There's going to be a lot of them.
I think Rey is reserved. Rey Mysterio is reserved for his son. If it's anything other than Rey versus Dom and Rey's retirement match, this has been that's been the worst retirement tour on the planet. Again, and we'll get to that when Rey inevitably does retire. But the direction this is going is Gunther the career killer. They're going to build him up just like they did Randy Orton years ago when I was younger as the legend killer. And shoot, Randy might be on that list. Randy and Brock Lesnar both might be on that list. So we may be seeing Gunther retire a lot of people here in the next couple of years for the WWE.
And I'll say the same thing as we said. Our buddy Rob Chavez was like, oh, that was weak. And, Gunther is just kind of just a generic type guy. Gunther's perfect for the bad guy type. Yes. I mean, he plays it well. I just think they kind of screwed up when he tapped out with the match with Uso. And I think, okay, because he was going up. You know, people, whether they liked him or not, I was a fan of him at that time. But ever since the face off with him and Jey Uso, and ever since, it's kind of just been a little dry.
I'm glad you brought up Jay, because here's my gripe against it. I get why Gunther was the choice, because he is the prototypical match that John Cena usually went up against throughout his entire career. The biggest bad, which is Gunther, going against the everybody's hero. And we even got the Super Cena chance, which traditionally people used to hate. And Big E brought up a very good point at the end of it in the post show. Usually when John would beat these guys, people would complain and say, oh, he wins too much. They always push him over the top, much like the Roman Reigns situation when Roman was winning all the time. But when it really comes down to it, when I'm watching this match, I have the same issue with it that I have with every Gunther match. And I say issue in quote, or it really lightly, because it's not an issue. The first half of Gunther's matches are always great. They are always really entertaining. They're back and forth. He's always taking punishment, but giving it at the same time. And yes, I agree. The chops make it look real. And a lot of the stuff he does makes it look real, because he's a very good technical professional wrestler. Here's my problem, though. The internet goes off on John Cena throughout his entire career for having 5 moves. Only 5 moves. The internet goes off on Jey Uso for not having the motor to be a singles wrestler, and how he botches so much and blah, 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 and he always looks tired. But we're not saying the same thing about Gunther. Gunther's got 4 moves: the chop, the power bomb, the splash, the sleeper. Can anybody else name a single move he does outside of that?
I like it when he does the kick.
The big kick. I'll give you the big boot.
I like the big boot.
That's a traditional big boot, though, so I don't necessarily just give that to him. That's usually something that they give to every big guy.
Yeah, every heel.
But, and then we look at the end of the match. We really needed back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back sleepers.
You know we were coming, though.
Back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back sleepers. And they're the weakest sleeper I've ever seen, by the way. You really, like, first and foremost, or I should say first and foremost, because I've been going at this for a while. His arm doesn't even look like it's at the throat.
Yeah.
This is Gunther's sleeper.
And there was times where Cena was moving it to make it look more real.
Put the hand on the head. I'm sorry. This is Gunther's sleeper. If you're watching on YouTube. And it's dumb, because everybody has the same reaction. It's the lamest thing on the planet, man. I'm sorry. Can we at least get a power bomb thrown in there? But that shows me Gunther doesn't have the motor. So if we're going to give grief to John Cena, the GOAT, for having a limited moveset, if we're going to give grief to guys like Jey Uso, who apparently don't have the motor to be champions, you have to do the same thing to Gunther. That's my only argument. Outside of that, I thought the match was actually pretty good. Wish he wouldn't have tapped out. And I highlighted again, you can't blame Triple H for this, because at the end of the day, that was John's decision. You could tell by the reaction of that Gunther gave. You could tell by just how the match was going that more than likely was not the way that was supposed to end, but it's the way he wanted to end it. And we all knew John was going to be going out on his back to pass the torch to the next in line. He wasn't going to win that match, no matter how much the crowd cried or cussed out Triple H on the way out there. And honestly, I think Triple H handled it perfectly. I really do. The post game where he looked back and said, go ahead, keep chanting. And he's like, oh, I'm actually very disappointed. I thought it was going to be louder. That's the perfect way to do it. Because at this point, who cares? Most of these people are keyboard warriors that have no idea how this stuff works. They all just assume that Triple H makes the decision and makes every decision, when that's not the case. Most of these storylines he probably has nothing to do with.
Yeah, a lot of it's a team. And I liked it when the post with The Miz.
Yes.
Because I think he put it, pretty truthfully.
It's the simplest of all is just, this is how it was meant to go down. It really was. Does it suck? 100%. No one wanted to see John lose. But at the same time, that's wrestling, baby. That's honestly how it works. And John's not leaving forever. He's going to be an ambassador to the company, which is great. Hopefully we'll see him maybe poke his head out of the back every so often and give us one of those old school rousing, promos that he's known for. Will he ever wrestle again? No. He's done. And honestly, I think I'm okay with that. I genuinely am. If this is all, or if this is how it ends for John, I can live with it. Am I sour that it was Gunther that did it? Oh, 110%. But then again, that's the whole point. And we're going to find out tonight on Raw exactly how everybody's going to react to this. Because personally, I think he's going to get the Dom Mysterio treatment. I don't think they're going to let him talk. He's going to get booed out of the stadium. We got to get out of here, though. Get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. Thank you for joining us. Join us back tomorrow, 7 to 9 a.m. as always. Sparky, let's get out of here.